Welcome back to BSLIVE. Today I just want to do something kind of random, basically a technique that you can use when using sculpting inside Blender. So basically you can use grease pencil and then symmetry modifiers just to get your imagination kind of running wild. So the idea is really you just go to the front view, and then you want to create grease pencil, so Shift A and create a blank grease pencil, and you just start kind of painting. Go to draw and then start to draw kind of like a random design. I mean, this is not exactly design, it's just kind of a symmetry. So I'm just gonna jump into grease pencil and turn on the mirror modifier. Aha, we're supposed to mirror it from the front axis, which is I guess we can just continue like this. Go to the camera, viewpoint, front. Okay, that should be the front, and we should mirror it in X. So let's just continue like this. Maybe you're drawing kind of like a butterfly of some sort. Okay, so we get something like that. I guess we can just hit apply. Okay, cannot be applied in paint. Go to object mode, hit apply. So we have this grease pencil, and then we can actually convert this into curve. Just F3 and then convert grease pencil into path. Now we have a path. You can't see anything, but if you go under curve preference, you can turn on path animations. And yeah, so at this point you can convert this into skin modifier. Maybe go to F3 and then convert to mesh. Now that this is a mesh, you can use skin modifier. It's gonna be really heavy, but it's all right. So hit F3 once again and then skin root mark. So now I will hit Ctrl A, select all, and then hit Ctrl A and make this smaller. Okay, at this point you can actually go to object mode and then apply displace modifier if you like. It's kind of randomize things a little bit more. And then later on, at some point, we can actually sculpt this, start sculpting. You can apply noise if you like, cloud noise, and yeah, that's gonna give you a bit more interesting result. Okay, let's save this really quick. So this is symmetry, random explorations of symmetry, basically. But you don't need to finish here. You can keep this design or just kind of random looking design, but you can actually use skin modifier on top of that, like a proper skin modifier. Like if I hide this now, hide this grease pencil converted mesh, go back to our grease pencil, and then here we can kind of use mirror as well. Let me explain properly. So we have a box. I'll go to edit mode and then F3 merge into the center, and then I start to push and pull the vertices. and go back to object mode, apply skin modifier, and then at this point you probably want to turn on X-ray and start reshaping the mesh. And at any point you can give a mirror modifier. Actually, at the top you apply mirror modifier, and then you start to shape your design, a character. I'm thinking of a character, some kind of butterfly or moth or some kind of dragon. Don't forget, like, you can scale skin modifier, but you can also like Control A and then hit X or Y or Z. You can then have something that's more like a flat shape. So this is me just playing around with this idea. So Control A and then hit X again, so flatten that part. Looks like I have something going back there. We probably want to clip. This was actually a mistake, right? I didn't plan this. That's okay. Later on, we're gonna use the Voxel Remesher. I forgot to mention that. Oops, turn off clipping. Try not to go too meshy. Oops, that's okay. And at this point, go down, scale, extrude, Control A, scale, extrude, oops, extrude again, Control A. So this the result should be some kind of symmetrical design. Maybe it's kind of broken there. Let me undo. Extrude, scale, extrude. At the bottom part, it looks like kind of like a fish. So yeah, maybe that's all right. Maybe it could be like a seahorse, some type of animal. You get the idea? Okay, that's not too bad. Turn off X-ray. Some kind of a creature. File, save as. Okay, so with the skin modifier, you don't need to stop here. You can go a little bit crazy with like keep adding skin modifier on top of this, because you can later on just merge everything and then use the Voxel Remesher, and then you're gonna get interesting result. So that's the idea basically. So skin modifier, and then this whatever we have before, I'm just gonna F3 and then convert to mesh. It's gonna bake all the modifier for us. Control J. Before I merge, actually, let's undo that. Maybe I just smooth this. Yep. Hit apply. Control J. And at this point, I can use the Voxel Remesher. Go to sculpt mode, right click, show tool. By default, 0.1. Not so interesting. 0.02. Smooth the normal. Remesh. A little bit better. It's not bad, but it's a good start. So at this point, you can start to add details because we have some kind of form. This is some kind of maybe fish creature. Every creature needs some kind of eyes, but it could be just like a starfish. And I'm still using Symmetry here as I'm painting and sculpting this. In fact, at this point, if maybe we turn on dynamic topo, so we have more freedom when adding detail. So sculpting becoming my latest hobby. Oh, actually, this part can be the eye. Could be antennae of these creatures, but I think the eyes should be over here. Probably need to have some kind of reference. Yeah, pushing and pulling, adding details as I need it. This should be more abstract. While doing this, I think I hold shift a lot, so that's why it's kind of smoothing some areas. Maybe I shouldn't do that too much. Oh, okay, that one's a little bit strong. Layer and clay strip. Layer is actually really strong. Let's go with this. Oh, okay. I also want. I like to have matte cap or maybe turn on the cavity. The cavity always give you some kind of fake detailing. Seems like you get a lot of more details, but it's actually you don't have that much detail. It's just triangles being shown. I think I'm kind of pretty happy with the result so far. This one, kind of like a tentacle. I don't want to make tentacle today. Just painting this part. This is the back part. Looks really interesting, the back part. You get all this you get from grease pencil. Just too random. This can be more interesting. Okay, this part is very interesting. Because we made a mistake there, remember, with the grease pencil? But this gives like kind of more like a 3D. You can really, with sculpting, you can go from just a couple of minutes to hours of just sculpting until you're kind of happy with the result. I like how it looks like a kind of like a dragon, starfish dragon, and this part also. It's not too bad. I like, maybe we need smooth part as well, not just keep adding details. So far I only use the brush without any kind of texturing. Maybe you want to add scale, things like that kind of detailing. And here I'm really, when I'm using dynamic topology, I think, and trying to add details, it's not always working. Supposedly I'm using like multi-resolutions to get a proper detail, but seems like this is actually part of the process. I find this to be super relaxing. Oh, this part is still too rounded. Maybe we can mess it with this a little bit more. Simplify, maybe. Look at this. Simplify, maybe even we can use like pull and push and pull. Like I said, I'm not really a sculptor, but I really like the process. more than anything. See the detail? There is no detail. I mean, it's adding some kind of fake detailing. It's adding topology, that's what I mean. But you can't really go inside, and you can kind of plan it this way. So I still don't know which part of the eyes for these creatures, but see, I just made a mistake there. Let me save file, save as. Just kind of following my intuition. I'm only using mouse, by the way, not using my fancy Apple Pencil, or I don't have Wacom. But this is pretty fun, really pretty fun. At some point, I'm gonna stop with the dynamic topology and start to add like a proper detailing. So I'm probably upside down. Yeah, starting to get into shape. It looks pretty random, but it's also like some kind of creature from under the sea. Okay, let me stop with adding dynamic topology, turn that off, and then now with object mode, I can go multi-resolution, subdivide one time, and then now we can go crazy with the details, and then properly adding sculpting some details. At this point, maybe you can also add some kind of using some kind of texture to add details into this character. It seems like I might actually hit the memory. It's too high for my computer. Wonder if Blender can handle it. Oh yeah. Wow, this is like, must be like super high res. It's not bad. I can simplify this, but I just want to show you sculpting at this level. It's still pretty interactive. Maybe I can simplify some area. But we have some, because we play around with the dynamic topology before, we have some details that we can play around with. Just, I think, make it more, just adding more definitions. Because this is completely random, we don't need to be too attached with it. And you probably don't need to follow what I'm doing here. You can make your own design. It's good to have some kind of reference, but sometimes this is kind of like a meditative, you know. Oh. Look at this. If you go to the beach, if you're close to the beach, you can see some rock formations that kind of resemble what I'm doing here. The sea creature is actually, I found, the most interesting from all the creatures. Sometimes I'm using smoothing. I'm not using anything fancy yet. But yeah, I try to, because we already have the form from the grease pencil, so we are just kind of adding details. We have the basic form from where we started. I think this back part needs more detail. If you do a lot of nature kind of drawing, it should help you like to add details. I haven't done much detailing actually. I like simple shapes. So I found that adding detail is like, wow, I normally use just procedural texture to do it. So but this day, if I need to sculpt it myself like this, maybe I need to do some kind of drawing involving nature, like texture drawing or things like that. All right, what is this looking like, do you think? So we started with the grease pencil. If we go to object mode, let's look at our grease pencil once again. I can keep continue with this, maybe adding like proper detailing, but it's gonna be maybe too boring. But you got the idea. I started with a grease pencil, and then I'm applying a symmetry modifier, and then I converted that grease pencil into a skin modifier, and then on top of that, I'm also using like a proper skin modifier, like a kind of like blocking the shapes based on the grease pencil doodles, and then I combine the two, and then I'm using Voxel Remesher until I'm happy with it, and then I'll keep adding details. So I started with just something like this, like can't barely figure out what is this exactly, but you can end up with something that's kind of a bit messier, but also kind of interesting. At this point, if your mesh is too dense, just use decimate. I'm just gonna do that and then save it. Let me decimate 0.1. 0.1 from this kind of dense mesh shouldn't be too much trouble. Apply. And at this point, if there's actually a quick technique to add some kind of details, fake details. I have these things called texture generator. I forgot again where I get it from, texture generator, but one of my video already talked about it. So it's a part of a shader that you apply into the material that you can bake. This should work with cycles, and we need to render this out. So this is what you get. You kind of get like instant patina. Patina is like the effects if you have leather that's you use for a long time. And yeah, this is my one way I cheat to get some kind of patina effects. Kind of like a stone. It's very stylistic, but you can, on top of this, you can add your own texture. You can add noise, like procedural noise texture on top as well. I haven't, this is all still procedural. I don't have any UV yet. You can see I can really play around with a lot of things. I forgot who made this procedural texture. It's a guy from Twitter, Dodge and Burn. So right away you can have this instantly. So yeah, that's just a quick kind of doodling around in Blender, starting with random grease pencil and then all the way with Voxel Remesher. Basically, the key point is Voxel Remesher. You just add a lot of shapes into it and then just remesh it and then sculpt on top of it and see what you get. All right. So hopefully you like this idea. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.